Hello, fellow crafters. This is Crafty Kim here, and I have 5 more Dollar Tree Halloween DIYs for you. I apologize for the late video since Halloween is just around the corner, but it was just me trying to get as many compiled into one video as I could while I work full-time and deal with life itself. So here they are, and I hope you enjoy them as much as I enjoyed making them for you. So for the first DIY, we're going to use 2 of these glass candlesticks, 2 of these plastic Christmas ornaments, 2 of these candles, we're just using the lids off the candle jars, and some of these skulls, and also some creepy cloth. And then I do end up using a little bit of this Spanish moss and some of my black spray paint. And at the end, it's optional if you want to add a light. I found this door cover that has a little blinking light inside, which was perfect for this project. So I took the candlesticks and the 2 candle covers and took them outside to give them a coat of the black spray paint. Now, just using my heat gun to soften up the plastic ornament, I'm going to use my utility knife to cut a bigger hole at the bottom of the ornament. Then just taking my heat gun again, I use it to smooth out the edges by heating it up and pushing it down onto the table. And I'm just trimming off any excess pieces with my scissors and utility knife. Then taking a piece of sandpaper, I'm just going to give it kind of a rough look because I want it to look like it's more aged than brand new. Now, just with some hot glue, you can certainly use E6000 if you want it to be a more permanent hold. I just added some to the top of the candlestick and I'm pushing it down into the cover of the candle. And now I'm going to add my creepy cloth to the top of that and then add a generous amount of hot glue to put my Spanish moss down over the top of the candle cover. Then just taking one of our skull heads, I add some hot glue to the bottom of the skull and glue that right to the top of the Spanish moss. And now I'm just kind of positioning where I want the ornament to go, and I add some hot glue to the edges and then just push it right down onto the moss. And I do add a little bit more hot glue once it's already on there. And here's what it looks like if you choose to not add the blinking lights. At first, I wasn't going to add lights, and then my husband suggested I should, and I'm glad I did because I really like how it looks, and I'm going to show you that here in a few minutes. Okay, so if you do want to add the lights, you just open the package of the door hanger and take out the little light, which is this right here. And I figured out a way to just stick, the lights are bendable, so you can stick them inside the little hole on the back of the globe. And I do end up having to unglue the globe a little bit to get that in there. But then I just add some hot glue and attach it to the back, and I end up painting it black to help blend it in and just drape the creepy cloth over it. So this light has a little tab. If you remove the tab, the lights turn on. But then all you have to do to shut it off is insert the tab back in. So there's no like on-off switch, but it's really easy to do. And here is what it looks like when the lights are off and it's blinking, and I just think it looks so cool. And the fact that it's red lights makes it even more creepy. So I'm glad I decided to add the lights, but you can do it either way, with or without. But let me know what you think, lights or no lights. I'm really loving how this looks with the lights. For DIY number 2, all of these products are from DollarTree. This wooden haunted house, 2 of these scarecrow signs, this window cling that says Home Sweet Haunted Home, and some more of the creepy cloth. The first thing I do is remove the hangers and the 2 little signs from the scarecrows and just use some hot glue and craft sticks to hold them together, and then I'm just giving it a coat of my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink. Then using a small sponge with some antique wax, I add that to the haunted house and remove any excess with a paper towel. Now I'm lining up where I want my house to be with the words. I do end up using most of the stickers. I use the Home Sweet Haunted Home, and then the spider webs and the spiders and even the bats. The only thing I didn't use, I think, was one cobweb. Once I have everything placed where I want it, I'm just taking some Mod Podge and adding a good coat of this directly to the sign to stick the stickers to, and then I will go over the top of these with another coat of Mod Podge as well. You can certainly put the spiders or the bats, even the spider webs, wherever you want on this sign. This is just how I chose to do it. Now taking some of the creepy cloth, I'm just cutting a piece big enough to put over the house. I decided I wanted to add this to the top just to make it look a little more creepy. And I take some like fluorescent lime green paint that I had on hand, and I just add that to the windows to make it look more like they're glowing. And I'm just using more Mod Podge to attach the creepy cloth right to the haunted house. And just using some scissors, I'm just trimming around the shape of the house just to make it fit a little more snug around the different shapes of the house. When I first thought of making this sign, I thought I was going to stand it up and just lean it against my wall, but I decided I wanted to hang it, so I'm just using a piece of jute string to make a hanger on the back, and I just hot glue it to the back and then add some more hot glue over it to reinforce the hold. And here it is all finished. I put it in my entryway above my little statue there, and I just really love how this turned out. It is my Home Sweet Haunted Home, and it was so simple to make and ended up costing around $4. So I hope you guys like this as much as I do. Moving on to DIY number 3, I got 2 of these wooden crosses from the Dollar Tree, as well as this lightweight spackling. And we're going to use some more of these skulls, as well as some floral moss, also from Dollar Tree. So here I'm just using a popsicle stick to give it a good mix, and then almost like frosting a cake, I'm just adding a thin layer of the spackling over the entire wood piece. Now just using a skewer, I'm writing the word RIP on this cross, and then on my other cross I just put some cracks here and there just to add a little more detail. You can do whatever you want with this, be as detailed as you'd like. Then just use your craft stick to smooth out any excess of the spackling. To add the spackling to the edges of the piece, I just did a downward motion and kept applying layers until I felt like it was enough to cover the sides. I just use my heat gun here to help dry it a little bit to do the next step, which is to add the skull to one of the crosses. So using my utility knife, I'm just cutting the back of the skull off, and I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue to give it an instant hold. And then what I do is add some spackling around the edging of the skull to give it a better hold, so it doesn't fall off. And I do allow these crosses to dry overnight. Then just using a paintbrush, I'm adding some of the spackling directly to the skull. That way when it dries, it has a little more texture. So when I move on to the painting, it'll blend in better with the rest of the cross. Now we're ready for paint. So any of the areas that we made deeper, like the cracks and the letters RIP, I'm adding a darker gray color to. You can use any paint for this. It doesn't have to be anything specific. I just used my Waverly chalk paint for this. So I'm adding that to all the deeper areas, like I said. And then I'm going to use a sponge and kind of just go over some of the deeper areas that the spackling created to add some darker coloring to the overall crosses, and you'll see that here. And then once I have all the dark colors on, I go in with a lighter gray to make it look more like concrete, and I blend it in over all of the dark areas, and this helps give the illusion of, you know, like the aging process of the concrete. And now to add a little more texture, I'm just taking some hot glue and adding this floral moss to certain areas. You can put it wherever you'd like, whatever you think looks good. And that's it for these crosses, and I am amazed at how real these look. Like, they look like concrete. I think they turned out so cool and would look good on any accent piece in your home, like a tiered tray or your fireplace, mantle, anywhere. I have them on my hutch in my dining room, and I just have them here on my table just to show you what they look like with some lights around them and stuff. But I just think they are so cool. DIY number 4, again, all these products are from Dollar Tree. You're going to need 2 bath mats and 2 of these felt skeletons. So these skeletons are posable, and I wanted him to look like he was kind of chillaxing on the front of the pillow that we're going to make. So the rugs I turn inside out, so the fluffy part of the rug is on the inside. And we're going to apply the skeleton to the flat side of the rug, and just using some hot glue, and that's it. Now, just using some hot glue, I'm gluing all the edges of the bath mats together and just leaving a little section of an opening so that you can stuff the pillow. I only had enough stuffing left to make 1 pillow. I did buy enough to make 2, so I will be making another one. And that's it. This is so super easy, and look how stinking cute this is. Like, he's just laying on the chair, just relaxing, and I just think it's so adorable. So easy to make. And it only costs $3. For our 5th and final DIY, you need 4 of these pumpkins from the Dollar Tree, as well as some more of these skulls. And this scrapbook paper I actually got from Hobby Lobby for $1. And some of these poster sticker letters from the Dollar Tree as well. So I didn't record this, but I took them outside and sanded all the glitter off with my hand sander. And now I'm just using my heat gun to remove the labels from the back, and now some Goo Gone to get the sticky residue off. Then I'm going to give the back side a coat of my Waverly chalk paint in the color ink, and we're going to be applying the scrapbook paper to the front, just using some Mod Podge. I put some down to attach it, and then put a layer of Mod Podge over the top as well. While the top layer of Mod Podge is still wet, I'm applying the letters to spell out EEK with an exclamation point, and I will add some Mod Podge over each letter as well. Please be very careful doing this step, but you're going to make an X in the back of the skull because we're going to put these over the pumpkin stems on our wooden pieces. You could certainly leave the skulls the color that they are, but I decided I wanted mine to be white, so I'm just using some Waverly chalk paint in the color white and giving them one coat of paint. So just adding a little bit of hot glue to the top of the stem. I just pop the skull on and hold it down for a second to let the glue adhere, and then that's it, you're done. And here's our cute little wooden eek sign with skeletons. I really hope you enjoyed all 5 of these Halloween DIYs I did for you in this video, and please just make sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell for future videos. I hope everyone has a happy, safe Halloween, and I'll see you in the next video.